Thanks for staying with us. Nigeria and South Africa are looking to collaborate more in the area of minerals development. That's according to Nigeria's Minister for Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekan Adebute, who was part of the just concluded Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission. Speaking to Channels Television in Pretoria, the minister says it's a two-way street where Nigeria learns from South Africa's deep mining expertise, while South Africa learns from Nigeria's extensive oil exploration experience.
My counterpart in South Africa actually is also responsible for petroleum. Yeah, and so what we found out, while we need them in terms of mining, which are very advanced, they also seek our help when it comes to petroleum exploration, especially offshore. They've discovered some oil offshore in South Africa. So it's the meetings have been very, very good, mutually beneficial. Also, I had to meet the Minister of Trade and Investment, who's also in charge of steel development here. And we've had very, very productive chats on that.
Any particular standouts that you can tell us?
Well, particularly mine development. They've invited me to visit some of their mines. Mining is well advanced in South Africa, just like in Australia and Canada. But because of proximity of South Africa, our people are learning so much in mine development, and so that we avoid the pitfalls that they had while they're doing their own. Particularly, they're talking to us about environmental degradation, how mining can be done properly without damaging the environment. So we're learning a lot from them as far as mining is concerned.
Okay, I know in Nigeria we have more open cast than they have, really deep, like going kilometers way down. Where is the meeting point in what they have and what we have?
Well, you see, whether it's open cast or deep down depends on where the mineral occurs, at what depth. There's a limit to what an open cast can do. Some minerals are like 100 meters down, 200 meters down, and in such cases, open cast will not work again. So you have to do proper mining. And I think we're going to have a first proper mine in Nigeria with the Segilola Gold. The work is advanced, and that is something that's going to be a proper mine, go under and get this product out. Like I said, we've learned a lot from them, even before I came to office, and the cooperation continues.
Still in South Africa, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, has expressed his continued support to the country, which he says continues to ensure the protection of refugees and asylum seekers. Referencing South Africa's decades of hospitality and open-door policy towards refugees and asylum seekers, Grandi commended the country for its efforts to encourage their socio-economic inclusion. During his visit, Mr. Grandi met with NGO partner agencies, business leaders, key government officials, refugees and asylum seekers. He also met with a group of refugees and asylum seekers at a community center in Johannesburg's Hillbrow, which raised various concerns following a recent spate of violence against foreigners in various parts of the country.
I came here to look at the situation of refugees and asylum seekers, and to discuss with the government how best to improve the way in which this country is receiving asylum seekers, is dealing with their case, and is ensuring that in this country they are safe, they have access to services. South Africa has a very exemplary policy of receiving people in distress from many parts of Africa and even beyond. Now, of course, I understand the difficulties. We're working on them. You need to be patient. I think that under the leadership of the government, we will manage to address some of the issues, some of the grievances that refugees and asylum seekers have raised. There is also anxiety about pressure on foreigners, migrants, that includes refugees as well. The president has been very clear that this country does not tolerate violence. This is a country born out of a fight for freedom against injustice. So it has to uphold these values very high, and it does. But of course, when the situation becomes difficult for many poor people in the country, it is more difficult to have refugees, migrants accepted in the communities. And this is what we need to work on.
Away from South Africa, about 400 Ethiopian migrants serving prison sentences in Saudi Arabia have returned home. Local media say the returnees were welcomed at the international airport in the capital Addis Ababa by an official from Ethiopia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The crimes committed had not been mentioned, and it is also unclear if they will continue serving their jail terms in local prisons or be set free. According to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, 32,890 Ethiopian migrants jailed in different countries have been returned home in the past 3 months alone. In May, the ministry secured the release of 1,400 Ethiopians imprisoned in the Gulf state following discussions between the two countries. Thousands of Ethiopians migrate to the Gulf and Southern Africa in search for economic opportunities, with many of them arrested for illegal entry to their destinations. Medical staff working at a prison in Bukavu in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo say 45 prisoners have died due to lack of care since the beginning of the year. Some sick prisoners were taken to the city's main hospital, but it reportedly did not have enough drugs to treat them. Prison health workers have now gone on strike over the lack of medicine and equipment, as well as pay. There have been long concern over the conditions in Congolese prisons. Last June, local media say over an 18-month period, around 40 prisoners had died, mostly from malnutrition, at a facility in Mbanza Ngungu, south of the capital, Kinshasa. Let's meet two fashion bloggers who have been given the opportunity to enjoy music by feeling it through their clothing. The twin sisters who were born in Eritrea lost their hearing when they were children. The Sound shirt, created by a London-based fashion company, has 16 sensors embedded in its fabric, so wearers can feel violins on their arms, for example, while drums beat on their backs. Take a look.
Twin sisters Herman and Heroda Behani love dancing but can't hear the music because they're both deaf. So the invention of a jacket with sensors that enables them to feel the different sounds has transformed their nights out in London clubs. Herman and Heroda run a fashion blog together called Being Her. They say modeling the shirts has given them a brand new experience.
I feel as though the deaf community think, oh, what's the point in going to a nightclub if they can't hear the music? And for accessibility purposes, obviously it's not there at nightclubs at the moment, whether it's at festivals, nightclubs, events, anywhere with a dance floor, there's no accessibility for us. But with these sound shirts, here we are.
Francesca Rosella is the co-founder and chief creative officer of Cute Circuits, and she explains that the shirt is made using smart fabrics.
Inside the shirt, that, by the way, is completely textiles. There are no wires inside, so we're only using smart fabrics. We have a combination of microelectronics that is very thin and flexible, and conductive fabrics. All these little electronic motors are connected with these conductive fabrics so that the garment is soft and stretchable.
The process of setting up the shirt takes some coordination. Microphones are installed on stage in a venue for each instrument. Music is sent in real time to a computer, where software analyzes it and translates it into touch sensations. This is then sent wirelessly to the garment, all in real time. The company is no stranger to sensory technology. It originally designed the Hug Shirt, which was a piece of clothing created for people to send virtual hugs to friends over a distance. The clothing has received warm reviews from blind and autistic people, as well as those without any sensory issues, and the company hasn't stopped with sound. The designers have also come up with garments that communicate over distance, change color, and are controlled via an app. They call it the future of fashion. Sound shirts don't come cheap, as they are expected to go on sale at more than £3,000. But Heroda believes it's a price worth paying for deaf people who enjoy music as much as she and her sister does.
That's amazing. Really, really amazing. Well, that's the program. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Teniola Shoboale.